A man from Indiana says his color blindness may have played a role in his toddler granddaughter's deadly fall from a cruise ship. He says he thought the tinted window he put her near was closed. Well, the family's attorney is saying it was all an accident.
The grandfather takes him over to the windows. He thinks it's all glass. There's a wood railing right there. He puts her up on there thinking that she's going to bang on the glass and it's going to be great. And she goes to bang on the glass, and the next thing he knows, she's gone.
It happened while the ship was docked in Puerto Rico. The grandfather is now being charged with negligent homicide. Let's bring in Brian Claypool. He is a criminal defense attorney. This story is just so horrifying on so many levels. It received national attention from the beginning for what it was, a terrible accident, according to the family. And the grandfather initially had said that he didn't know that window was open. Now he gives his first interview. For the first time, we're hearing that color blindness might have been the cause. How does that affect this case?
Well, Julie, happy Thanksgiving, by the way. And speaking of Thanksgiving, I'm relieved that the grandfather's lawyer is not trying to raise some silly defense like the turkey or stuffing made me do it. I mean, this is a legitimate defense. He has medical documentation showing that he is colorblind. Why is that important? Well, to prove negligent homicide, Julie, you have to show that the grandfather was aware that the conduct that he was engaging in, letting the little girl up on the wood shelf, would have possibly led to her death. What he's saying is that was a tinted window. I couldn't tell the difference. I didn't think the window was open, and this is an absolute accident. So it really is going to help his case. Has
a defense like this ever been used before?
I have not heard of colorblind being a defense before. I've heard of things like, walking in your sleep defense. Remember the Twinkie defense years ago? But this is news to me. But let me tell you about another issue, Julie, that's going to come up in this case. And I find Puerto Rican officials prosecuting him to be a little bit suspicious, because they also have to prove that his actions actually caused the death of a little girl. And what his lawyers are already arguing in a civil case is that the failure to have a warning sign up there, to not have kids up on that ledge, a warning sign that the windows can open, that really is the legal cause of the child tragically dying, as opposed to the grandfather's conduct. So I think that's going to come into play as well.
Salvatore Anello, that's the grandfather. He says that the outcome of this trial doesn't matter because losing the girl was the worst thing ever. This family has suffered so much already. The parents even stand behind the grandfather, who clearly loved his granddaughter dearly. And he is paying the price for the rest of his life. What is likely to happen in this case? And do you believe that negligent homicide charges are going too far?
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. That's what I meant earlier when I said this is suspicious. Usually in criminal cases where the victim does not want to press charges, prosecutors don't press charges, especially when a young little toddler is dead and the grandfather's grieving as well as the family. So you have to ask yourself, why is he being prosecuted? Maybe because this Carnival cruise line brings a lot of tourists into Puerto Rico. They rely on that. Maybe that's one of the issues. But look, at the end of the day, I don't think the prosecutor is going to be able to win this case for the reasons I stated. That he didn't know that window was open, he is colorblind, and that really it wasn't his actions that caused this death.
And no culpability on behalf of the cruise line?
Well, that's an interesting point. That's why I think if I was representing the grandfather, I would delay the criminal trial as much as possible, because there's been a civil lawsuit filed by the mom of the little girl against the cruise line. I would develop deposition testimony from the cruise line officials in the civil case and then use that in the criminal case to prove that the improper warning signs, the way that window was negligent, and that was the cause of the death.
The fact the window's open, period. I don't even understand why you would need a balcony to have an open window when you're at sea and you're so high up, so many stories. Brian Claypool, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Julie.
Well.